Hi guys, is Sinn Féin in trouble over the issue of immigration? So as the European and local elections are just around the corner, talk of increasing border checks and crackdowns on asylum seekers coming from Britain is being presented as a problem for the Republican Party. Some commentators and parties opposed to Sinn Féin are attempting to make hay of the situation by claiming that this puts the party leader, Mary Lou McDonald, in a very difficult spot. Sinn Féin is a bit of a broad church, where you have both socially left and right working together to propel the party into power. Suzanne Breen from the Belfast Telegraph thinks the immigration issue could cause a headache for Sinn Féin, but is she right?
I think it is difficult for Sinn Féin and maybe more difficult than it is for some of the other large parties, because polls have shown that Sinn Féin voters actually support border checkpoints for immigrants. So I think Mary Lou McDonald is really walking a tightrope. She needs the party to maintain its support, particularly in working class urban areas.
And only 4 weeks, I think, tomorrow until polls open in the
only
Republic.
4 weeks, and yet the party still has to retain some credibility. I do think Sinn Féin has walked back a little bit from its previous positions on immigration. I think the party is still going to do pretty well in the council elections and in the European elections, because it had such a bad result last time in both elections, so it can only go up. It'll probably going to double its votes in the council election and double its number of representatives. It's going to get some more MEPs, but this is not an issue that's going to go away.
Now, I don't think this really is a problem for Sinn Féin, because, as I keep saying, elections are a referendum on the incumbent. Now, the European elections are a different kettle of fish, but generally people will vote on, are we happy with the current government, yes or no? So I don't think this is really a problem for Sinn Féin. Now, when it comes to a majority of, or half or whatever it was, of Sinn Féin voters wanting border checks, this is very different to border infrastructure. This is very different to a hard border on the island of Ireland. We saw it during the pandemic, where there were checks carried out on people crossing from Northern Ireland into the Republic. And when it comes to immigration, it seems, well, people are not happy with what the Rwanda bill has resulted in, having people crossing the channel into Britain, and then some of them leaving Britain and coming to the Republic of Ireland via Northern Ireland. So many people in the Republic are not happy about that, and they believe, well, we should have checks on people coming in. Now, it's important to remember, this type of polling, you have to look at the question. Do you want checks on asylum seekers coming in to Ireland via Northern Ireland? And majority support that. That's different from a hard border. This is not checks on everyone, according to the polling. This is checks on asylum seekers. Now, of course, a check on asylum seeker is a check on everyone. But once again, you have to look at the type of question asked and who's doing this type of polling. But this is not the same as a hard border. Okay, let's park that. Is it an issue for Sinn Féin, the issue of immigration? Yes, it is. And it's an issue for all parties. Now, it's important to remember, concern over immigration is not the same as being a racist. The racists don't have solutions. If you're concerned about immigration, you want to find a solution. You want to see people integrated so there isn't conflict. You want to see that there is housing available for all. That's a legitimate concern people have. There is a housing crisis in Ireland. Of course, if more people come in, that's going to put pressure on housing. That's reality. So the concern should be on, okay, how do we fix these problems? Well, we build more affordable and social housing. We improve public services. This is how you deal with these problems. Not just we send everyone back home or we close the border or something like that. These are simple answers to very complex solutions. You need to sit down and try and find out, okay, what is the problem here? What is the core problem? In many cases, it's housing, a lack of funding for public services. Okay, let's deal with those things, and then we can deal with immigration. Now, of course, emergency housing and has to be provided in the meanwhile. But once again, the issue here is not so much for Sinn Féin, it's for the incumbent. So it's the government in the Republic of Ireland. What are they doing to resolve this problem? And unfortunately, like the Tories in Britain, the rhetoric is there just to convince a certain section of society to vote for us. And unfortunately, instead of actually dealing with the problem of housing, the social safety net, the public services, the government's response is, well, we need to be tough on immigration. Now, will there be checks on the border? Yes, there will. Of course there will. If there are asylum seekers coming from Great Britain via Northern Ireland, those checks will be carried out. But I think this is something temporary. This, as I said before, is a storm in a teacup. It will eventually be resolved. So any checks that are carried out on the border will be temporary. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.